for working along the boulders. Like as they'll hit boulders, colour is very popular, this shape is very popular. Tail here, and you can literally clip that tail off. I like this crawling style. Again, there's a lot of different sizes, a lot of different types. All right, g'day guys. Welcome to my fishing place. And if you can see behind me, you'll see today that we are fishing some absolutely spectacular gorge country here in northern New South Wales. And you know, without a doubt, this is my absolute favourite form of fishing. I just love it so much. So what I thought I'd do while we're sitting here, just a bit of a break between fish, I'll just give you a bit of a rundown of the fishing tackle that I use for Murray cod. It might be a bit of a timeline. I first started fishing for Murray cod seriously probably about 2014. So what I'll do, I'll just run through what I started using and I guess upgrading to what I'm using now. This is sort of all the fishing lures and tackle that I use for Murray cod. So I guess when I started fishing for Murray cod, back many years ago, come down to areas like this with my brothers, and the first lures that I started using for Murray cod were simple hard bodies. These areas like this, divers I find really good. This is quite shallow. Where we're fishing here is quite shallow, and so they're also quite buoyant, which is really good for working along the boulders. Like as they'll hit boulders, they'll literally bounce back, and they actually look like a small crustacean or something moving between the rocks. So this is what we started out using. Another hard body that I love around these regions. I'll just unclip this one for you. And it's called a river rat. This is by Kingfisher Lures. And you'll see in the New England region, this colour is very popular. This shape is very popular. And again, as this is bouncing along the rocks, the bib is actually in the way of the hook. So it's quite hard to foul up, believe it or not. So this is another hard body that I'll definitely use in areas like this because of the colour, the size, the buoyancy, the length of that lip. And again, as this is working its way through rocks, you'll see these hooks aren't actually touching the ground, which is awesome. Again, this makes its way through rocks and crevices really well. So that's what I started fishing on Murray cod on, really, was hard bodies like this. My first ever Murray cod, I haven't got one here, was on a 75mm purple stump jumper, which again, the stump jumper is a classic lure for Murray cod. So after hard bodies, I guess the next lures that I really started throwing was, because it's an awesome style of fishing, is surface lures. And surface lures that we use mostly are like this crawling style. Again, they sit on the top of the water and they paddle and just look like something trying to escape across the water. And you've got many different styles. You've got a style like this. Again, same style, but much bigger, this Kingfisher lure. Yeah, some surface lures, instead of these metal wings, have a polycarbonate bib, and they just have different motions across the water. So there's a huge array of surface lures, and top water fishing for Murray cod is just so much fun, and it's so explosive and so addictive. And a lot of people wonder about, surface luring for Murray cod, but we came to an area just like this with a good friend of ours, and he said there's no way you'll ever catch a Murray cod on surface. He got his first Murray cod on surface on a lure like this and used it all day, and so it was just absolutely awesome. So like I say, hard bodies are what I started on, lure fishing for Murray cod, then moved to surface lures as well. And around the same time, I think it was my brother introduced me to these style of lures, actually chasing bass on the Sunshine Coast, and that is the humble spinnerbait. And the humble spinnerbait is a staple in every cod fisher's tackle box. And again, there's a lot of different sizes, a lot of different types. Again, you get a tiny little spinnerbait for bass, or you can get you know, massive spinnerbaits that you throw at sticks in Lake Mulwala or places like that. And again, what I love about spinnerbaits, especially for places like this, is that again, they are also pretty snag resistant, but also what I love about them is, again, if you can see the cliffs behind me there, you can actually cast these and they'll hit the rocks as soon as they enter the water. And I'll say it all the time, these blades start spinning, and that means the lure's working even if it's just falling down. And like, again, areas like this or areas with lilies or reeds, you pop these down in front of lilies or reeds and again, it's just working straight away. And the other great thing about a spinnerbait is, again, if the water level varies, you can throw this in and wait 1 second and retrieve it, or if it's a bit deeper, you wait a bit longer, and you can actually work that whole, every different column in the water. So again, my favourite for down here would be a purple spinnerbait. Greens also work for us well down here as well, but I have downsized my spinnerbaits in the last couple of years. I did used to use larger ones, but I find these smaller profile ones are working better in river systems like this. So we've gone through hard bodies, we've gone through top water, we've gone through spinnerbaits. I guess one of the most exciting things that I've found over the last sort of year or so in regards to fishing for Murray cod is now, you know, using swim baits. And this is just, for me, a very visual, because you can usually see in a visual and exciting way of fishing for Murray cod. You're casting these quite large baits, and again, swim baits come in single join, multi join. There's just so many variations of swim baits, I won't even try and cover them all. But what I love about this is by BaitSanity, it's an Explorer gill, is we've got a little tail here and you can literally clip that tail off and try different tails. And what that will do is it actually alters the movement of the lure that much that, you know, if one tail might not be working, you can flip another tail or a different color tail. And then it's just, a lot of fish haven't seen something like that. So swim baiting, again, in areas like this, you can cast this swim bait, just let it sink for a little bit, then start your retrieve. Or you can let it sink a little bit longer or a bit longer. And again, you know, we're not letting it sink out. Oh, that was good. Good one, red. Again, we're not letting it sink too much here, but you know, if you're in one of the big lakes like Copeton or Eildon or the myriad of other lakes or dams you can use, again, you can fix these with chin weights or anything you want. But you know, again, you know, even on this trip, we've had a 55 centimetre cod being attacked by about an 85 centimetre cod. So cod are not afraid to go after big lures. So swim baiting has been absolutely awesome. Just get online, do some research, because all these lures I'm talking about, there's just so many different variations that I can't cover them all today. And the last thing I'll talk about, and you know, there is subtle differences between a swim bait. There's a multi-jointed swim bait there. You can see it's got 3 joins, and it swims with much more of an S through the water. Where this swim bait here has a bit more of a gliding action because of that single joint. And so yes, there is a bit of a differentiation, and this bait here is actually called this is a proper glide bait, and the action on these is fantastic through the water. And with Murray cod, what we find is it almost frustrates those fish, because this fish will be heading one way, and as Murray cod often eat from the front, they'll think their head's going this way, but when you glide it, it'll flip back that way. And the cod's very confused about what's happening, so it wants to have a chomp. And this trip, these have been fantastic. Again, we've got some little weights that you can attach to the bottom of this. This is a BaitSanity antidote, tough little sucker. You can attach weights again to sink this down the water column, but we've had success in the first, mate, these are just only this far under the water. We've had some really explosive hits on these things. It's just been, for me, something quite new. So I'm actually loving fishing on these glide baits. And again, there's a myriad of different glide baits, but for me, I just find these antidotes just simple to use. They're tough, and they've got a really good sink rate, so we're really happy with these. I hope that gives you a bit of an idea about what I use for Murray cod. Of course, everyone out there might have different ideas and different variations what they use, but I know if I'm coming down to this region especially, my lure choices for Murray cod, I'll pack some hard bodies, I'll pack some topwater, I'll pack some spinnerbaits, and I'll pack some glide baits and swim baits. And there's one more lure that I forgot about. Two more I forgot about, sorry. Chatterbaits, kind of a bit, I will not say the same as a spinnerbait, but they can work the same. So this blade is just chattering across the water, underneath the subsurface. And I can't find my last lure that I had here. Oh yes, I can, here it is. It's just a plastic, a soft plastic. I think this is a Rapala Crush City 4-inch plastic. Jighead with a beetle spin, or jig spin, whatever you want to call it. I use this combo for bass where I'm from, very effectively. And I just think sometimes, this combination, it's not too big, it's not too scary. It just seems to work, especially when the fish are, because sometimes the cod are a bit shy. And this just seems to, with this tail thumping and this Colorado blade spinning, they just seem to work as well. So yes, if you're starting to get into Murray cod fishing and you want to know what lures you should use for Murray cod, that's where I'd start. Some hard bodies, top water, glide. I know it sounds like a lot of baits, swim baits, some plastics, and you'll find what works. And just one thing is always be willing to change. You might find a lure works in one pool, maybe because that pool heats up more or it's got different water flow, and you'll move to the next hole and they won't like that bait. So you just got to be willing to change up. So again, thanks for joining me, and I hope that helps you figure out what to take next time you go chasing Murray cod in the gorge country. Take care.